From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, January the 18th, 2023. We open with more Israeli response to the video released this week by terror group Hamas, purported to be of Israeli civilian captive Avira Mengistu, held by the terror group in Gaza for over 8 years. While the video is still being authenticated, Israel's foreign ministry is calling for urgent action in Mengistu's return, as well as in the return of civilian Hisham al-Sayed, both men said to have mental health issues, and the return of the remains of IDF soldiers, Lieutenant Hadar Golden and Staff Sergeant Oron Shaul. Israel's Foreign Minister Eli Cohen instructed letters to be sent to Pope Francis, the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, the President of the Red Cross, the Director General of the World Health Organization, and to senior UN officials in Geneva with a request to act for the release of the Israeli citizens and the bodies of the soldiers. Cohen vowing we will continue to work with the international community to expose the cruel face of the terrorist organization Hamas until they are returned home. Israel's High Court of Justice ruled today that Aryeh Deri, recently appointed as Israel's Interior and Health Minister, cannot serve in that capacity. The court saying that the majority of the justices of the panel determined that this appointment is severely unreasonable, and as such, the prime minister must remove him from his role, referring to Deri, citing the Shas leader's past convictions on corruption charges and the fact that he told the court who convicted him he would quit politics as part of his plea agreement. The Likud party called the disqualification by the court an injustice, and Knesset Speaker Amir Ohana said it is better for the court to withdraw its hand from interfering in matters of this type, adding that now the legislative branch will have its say. The Times of Israel reported that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu went to Deri's home after the ruling to discuss the matter with him. Earlier today, Netanyahu met with a bipartisan Senate delegation from the Abraham Accords lobby, led by Democratic Senator Jackie Rosen and Republican Senator James Langford, with Democratic Senators Michael Bennet, Kirsten Gillibrand, and Mark Kelly, and Republican Senators Dan Sullivan and Ted Budd, who are all also visiting the UAE, Bahrain, and Morocco to see the impact of the accords. Netanyahu's office said they discussed the strong partnership between the countries that are signatories to the accords and the inherent potential to tighten the cooperation, as well as the importance of cross-party support in the U.S. Congress for the Abraham Accords and for the opportunities to expand them. Netanyahu also presented evidence regarding the Iranian threat and discussed the potential for tightening cooperation with the U.S. in that regard. U.S. Ambassador to Israel Thomas Nides, who was also present at the meeting, tweeted a welcome photo with the senators, writing, "It doesn't matter which side of the aisle you're sitting on, unbreakable U.S.-Israel ties transcend politics." By the way, U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan is expected in Israel this week to meet with Netanyahu's new government. Iran will be one of the main topics of discussion. The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania inaugurated its 48th governor yesterday. Jewish Democrat Josh Shapiro took the oath of office on a stack of 3 Hebrew Bibles, one of which was from the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh. That Bible present on the day of the deadly massacre at the synagogue on October the 27th of 2018. Tree of Life Rabbi Jeffrey Myers told the Jewish Insider the Bible survived without any damage, and Tree of Life is honored by its presence at the inauguration. Shapiro, who often refers to his Jewish faith, quoted the Jewish writings of Pirkei Avot at his victory speech back in November. He said, "You've heard me quote my scripture before, that no one is required to complete the task, but neither are we free to refrain from it," meaning each of us has a responsibility to get off the sidelines, to get in the game, and to do our part. The Jewish Book Council announced the winners of the 72nd National Jewish Book Awards this morning, with Kosher Soul, The Faith and Food Journey of an African American Jew by Michael W. Twitty, named its Book of the Year. The writer, culinary historian, and educator noted he is the first African American so honored. Other winners include Michael Frank for 100 Saturdays, Stella Levy and the Search for a Lost World, Danny Shapiro's Signal Fires, and Jonathan Friedland for The Escape Artist, the man who broke out of Auschwitz to warn the world. The Jewish Book Council Awards will be handed out on March the 1st. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Wednesday, January the 18th. At 7, it's Talmud Study. At 7:30, Rabbi Ammiel Hirsch talks about the connection that the Jewish tradition draws between Jacob and Hanukkah. At 8, Robert Siegel looks at what law enforcement can or should do to address crime in America, with Richard Berk, Rosa Brooks, and Chuck Wexler. At 9, Mark Golub is joined by Mort Klein, Carolyn Glick, Eric Yoffie, and Lauren Atkins to discuss President Biden's relationship to Israel and American Jewish leadership's ability to advocate effectively for the Jewish state. At 10:30, Dr. Jeffrey Gurok recounts humorous and poignant stories about his days at New York's City College. And coming up next, it's Thinking Out Loud. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, January the 18th, 2023. I'm Teisha Bader. Stay healthy, stay well.